Okay, let us all pray. Jesus, Captain of my life, may your strength arise. Deep to deep, my heart will soar with you on a grace-filled skies. Jesus, Captain of my mind, may your hope take flight. Wing to wing, my faith will fly with you on a promise bright. Jesus, Captain of my soul, may your love abide. Heart to heart, you cherish me. With you, I come alive. So, good morning. Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmates. I am about to report to you the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. I am Anthony Lester C. Fernandez, working at Baybay City Division District 2, Banahaw National High School. So, okay, let's talk about first about the Vietnam. Vietnam, officially the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, is one of just five communist countries still in existence. The other four are China, Cuba, and North Korea. Vietnam is a socialist republic with one-party system led by the Communist Party. So, before we proceed to the next slide, let us talk about the what is socialism or socialist. Socialism or socialist countries is a social organization that means of making, moving, and trading wealth should be owned or controlled by the workers. This means the money made belongs to the workers who make the products instead of the groups of private owners. So we can observe that they are in the Vietnam there are less middlemen involved in trading goods, so mas barato siya. For example, in Vietnam, farmers are the one who sells and prices their rice. Unlike here in the Philippines that we have many businessmen who are dealers of rice but not own rice fields. Therefore, Vietnamese has low cost of living in compared to the Philippines because the prices of goods are less due to less middleman or sa ato pa nga term aniya kay alport. So, ang ako gibutang diri kay Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Then naapod tay communist. So, ayo mo kalibog ana og socialist o communist. Ato na i-discuss karon. So, don't confuse about the socialism and communism. There are quietly different, but for what I understand, under communism, the people are compensated or provided for based on their needs. Based on their needs lang ha. In pure communist society, the government provides the most of all food, clothing, housing, and other necessities based on what it considered to be the needs of the people. So, ang government ra under communist ang mag-provide og pagkaon. Sila ay katungod nga maghatag nimo og pagkaon, clothes or basic needs nga based ra sa imuha makonsume or based ra sa imuha living. On the other hand, socialism is based on the premise the people will be compensated based on their level of individual contributions to the economy. So, under sa socialist is lahi. Mag-base ang mag-base ang mag-gain mag-base ang for example, ako kay worker ko, mag-base ang ako income or ako ma-acquire nga basic needs kay depending on sa ako trabaho, sa ako gi hatag nga effort. Unlike sa communism. Effort and innovations are thus rewarded under socialism. For example, the North Korea. Oh, the perfect example of communism is the North Korea. So maobserba na to sa North Korea kay grabe kay stricto ang ilang government nga tuwa. Kay halos dili sila pwede mo own og sakyanan kay based on their living dili sila kinahanglan og sakyanan aron maka-transfer from one place to another. Actually, ang may sakyanan ra sa ilaha kay ang ilaha ra mga powerful government officials. So, low jud kayo. So, why is it that Vietnam is under under the Communist Party? Well, in fact, that Vietnam is a socialist republic. So, to make that confusion, to solve that confusion, communist countries is difficult to classify. It's difficult to classify countries as being either communist or socialist. So, lisod jud kayo i-identify ang country kung communist ba siya or socialist because several countries while ruled by the Communist Party declared themselves to be socialist state and and employ many aspects of socialist economic and social policy. Just like the Vietnam, they are socialist but led by the Communist Party. You see, na state na nako ang pinaka difference nga no ang socialist from communism kay lahi siya. Then uh, sa socialist republic, there are several countries that are also republic. Actually, ang na-observe nako kasagaran sa mga socialist kay republic siya. Meaning the means of selecting their leader is are selected by the masses or naay votation nga mahitabo. Unlike sa example sa North Korea kay wala gid nay votation nga mahitabo diha mahitabo diha ano lang ang leader nila diha ay ma-identify based on succession or kanang naaray mosunod nga leader kadugo ra dapat ang mosunod. So next, Vietnam has a land area of approximately 331,210 square kilometer and it's 10% larger than the Philippines. While only has approximately 300 square kilometers land area. So we differentiate the ang kadak-on sa land area rin ha, land area. However, the population of the larger country Vietnam is approximately 10.5 million fewer than the Philippines. When you take a look at the population growth rate, based on the population growth rate, Philippines is much faster in increase of population. Ano kaha? Napo kaiba. So, the currency exchange equivalence is 1 Vietnamese dong is equals to 0.0021 Philippine peso. So, dali ra ka makamilyon nga tuwa sa ilaha. Okay, gamay ra kayo og gamay ra kayo siya equivalent sa Philippines. So, when you observe this map of the Philippines here, and this is the map of the Vietnam. Even if the land of area of Vietnam is much larger than the Philippines, we have more aquatic resources because we covered much sea areas in compare with the Vietnam. So in terms of the aquatic resources that is commonly found in the bodies of water, we are more blessed and we are more dako taog dako taog resources sa mas dako tag makuha ang resources sa ato ang karagatan ato mga sea areas because we covers almost 360 out Philippines is covered 360 degrees of water surrounded by water unlike sa Vietnam kay this part also this is the only part where the land of Vietnam only the one face of Vietnam covers what sea area So let's proceed. Ministry of Education and Training, or the MOET. This is the equivalent of the Department of Education, or DepEd, in the Philippines. So in the Vietnam, they don't have the CHED. The MOET is the one who manages the grade level and the higher education training. So the MOET responsible for the governance of general academic education and higher education training in Vietnam. It is also responsible for the professional performance and regulation of education institution under it, but not for ownership or finance. Nganong dili man ma-owner ng MOET ang tanan CHED, or tanan tanan schools. It is because private there are private universities and major public universities which are exempted for this kind of ownership and finance. Ownership and administrative financial responsibility for the bulk of education institutions, including all school level general education, falls under the province or district, which are substantial autonomy of many budgetary decisions under the Vietnamese constitution. So, makompare na to na siya like sa US nga na sila yung mga state governments nga dili na mo adto gid mismo sa national budget ang budget sa usa ka state. Sa usa ka state lang dito na mismo ma contribute or dito na ma-allocate na sila daan based na sa ilaha state o dili na siya national ba. Based pa lamang sa ila state income ngadto na ma-allocatean og budget ng usa ka eskwelahan nga ila covered adto ang state. So, vocational education is controlled by the Ministry of Labor, Invalid and Social Affairs, or the MOLESA. MOLESA is the counterpart of what we have here in the Philippines is the TESDA. They're on focusing much on the skills like welding, like automotive or machinery. So next, Vietnam educational system. The structure of Vietnamese education system is similar to the United States, which adopt the K-12 program. And we're the same na pod sa Vietnam kay we're adopting na pod K-12 program. But nauna gid ang Vietnamese ana sa ato og kanang pa-implement anang K-12 program. So we know na the K-12 program, it is the 12 years of schooling followed by a 4-year bachelor degree, or a 2-year master's degree, and a 3 to 4 PhD. So most widely we have the same educational system sa sa Vietnam na after sa ato 12 years in K to 12 maka bachelor maka bachelor's degree ka for 4 years, then 2 years sa ato masteral, then 3 to 4 years sa ato PhD. Sa ilaha, ang difference sa ilaha sa K to 12, di ba, kinder plus 12 years in grade school. Sa ilaha kay dili compulsory ang kinder. Later ato na ito. The language of instruction in Vietnamese, although the language of instruction is Vietnamese. Although a few universities are introducing English taught programs and classes. So, their main the they using their kanang pinaka dialect nila in discussing the lessons to the students, just like in Japan. So mo na sa ilaha uso jud kaayo pod ang mga foreign language school na mag-teach of English just like for the Philippines. Many Koreans will go here in the Philippines just to study English language. Vietnamese higher education system is heavily influenced by the Soviet academic system. So what is Soviet academic system? Soviet academic system is belongs to the Soviet Union. So Soviet Union is officially the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics or the USSR was the federal socialist state in the northern Eurasia that existed from 1922 to 1991 during the World War I against the Nazis of Germany. So Vietnamese since the Vietnam is included in the Soviet Union, they adapt the rules they adapt the most of the academic system from the Soviet Union, which is led by the Russia. So Russia and Vietnam has quietly the same academic system because mo lagi to apil ang giusar at ang mga ano sa man ng Soviet Union kanang ano man na Eurasia man na siya, Europe and Asia, a combination of countries from Europe and Asia. So almost the same ra sila og kanang educational system kay usa ra man sila nga grupo. Pero karon dili na. In Europe they have different educational system na, and Vietnam nowadays is quietly the same pa sa Russia, in which universities were primarily teaching institutions while research was carried out by research institution. So sa ilaha kay different ang institution for different ang teaching institutions from research institutions. Ano ka different kay sa una man gud gitukod ning Soviet academic system kay for developing mga young soldiers kay ito nga time kay World War I kusog kayo ang military force sa Germany. So mao na nang na-adapt nila ang culture nga gihatagan nila emphasis ang teaching institutions nga diri nga institution kay nag-build sila diri og mga nag-teach sila diri og mga skills gyud kanang machinery nga machinery kanang mga automotive, agricultural skills nga makapadungag gyud og makasupport gyud sa military force sa USS sa Soviet Union. Kay mao mo gyud ang pinaka-importante ato nga time nga na-adapt na pud nila karon nga gihatagan jud nila og dako nga importansya ang pag-develop sa ilahang mga skills, not on the they do not focus on research institutes kining mga research institutes kasagaran nga ni kay ang daghan ay makuha ni karon kay naman ni dugay naman tong time na kinahanglan nila og aid sa military force. So sa research institutes karon mo na ni gi sa karon nga time kay gipangitanang pamaagi sa Vietnam nga mausa na ni siya ang teaching institutions o ang research institutes. Kay sa Philippines usa naman na sa ato we are well equipped in researches here in the Philippines while taking up our bachelor's degree. Sa ilaha man gud kay gipokuson nila ang skills gud, technical skills nga magamit gud nila sa ilaha country. Pero in compare sa Philippines, dili pod ingon nga dili maayo nang gibuhat sa ang educational system sa Vietnam nga gi-focus nila ang pag-train sa skills sa mga ilaha mga student because effective kayo ang ila gibuhat kay in terms sa ila agriculture sector grabe ka grabe ka grabe ka skilled ang mga tao nga tuwa in terms of agriculture, in the machinery, mag-tractor, mga kay they are well equipped na kay mao man gid gifokusan nila sa una. Antud karon nga nga mao to nga mga skills. So let's proceed. Oh, in addition pa di ba ang Vietnam kay sila may usa sa pinakadako nga distributor sa rice. Dako sila contribution sa rice nila. Magdagang sila export ng rice kay tungod po na sa ilaha mga skills nga gi-develop sa ilaha mga farmers ngadto. So mo to siya. Next slide. For the Vietnam education system, university level higher education are offered in three main types of institution: multidisciplinary, specialized, and junior colleges. Multidisciplinary offers undergraduate and graduate level. Specialized institution focus on one or two areas of study including engineering, economics, law, and foreign languages. Third one is the junior colleges. Offers sub-degree programs. Associate degree programs give advanced standing into the degree programs or led to employment. Shorter vocational certificate programs led to employment only. So, under sa junior colleges, actually, sa ilaha, after nila mag senior high or after nila mag-graduate of 12-year course, so sila mo proceed sa college kaya pwede sila mo enroll sa junior colleges of additional 2 years man siguro na or 3 years. Ano siya? Degree program siya sa para mas well equipped pa ka ba usa ka mo adto sa mga specialized institutions nga mga courses like engineering, economics. So, murag junior colleges is just like the preparation. Pero di gyud siya kinahanglan nga kuha nimo, pwede ka mo diretso sa specialized institution. This is ano lang gibuhat ng junior colleges kay naman po uban nga dili na gid mo proceed og college nga mo proceed na gid sila trabaho. Mao bitaw gitawag na short vocational programs pud ning junior colleges. Pwede ka mo kuha ni or pwede dili. So, next is the structure of the education system. For preschool or preschool playgroup ages ranges from 3 to 4. Kindergarten is ranges from 4 to 6. Ang sa review lang ha, preschool sa Vietnam kay dili gid ni siya compulsory. The primary school and the middle school are the ones who are compulsory. Kinahanglan mag-enroll gud ni sa kinahanglan mag-enroll gud ning mga bata dire under dire sa primary school ug middle school kay very strict ang Vietnam when it comes to education. Istoryahon gud sa mga pulis nila nga to i-interviewon gud ang mga ginikanan nga nganong wa sila nagkuskwela sa ilang mga anak. So nindot kayo. For primary school, first grade ranges 6 to 7, second grade 7 to 8, third grade 8 to 9, fourth grade 9 to 10, fifth grade 10 to 11. For middle school or junior high school, have sixth grade 11 to 12 years old, seventh grade 12 to 13 years old, eighth grade 13 to 14 years old, ninth grade 14 to 15 years old, sixth grade 11 to 12 years old, and in high school 10th grade 15 to 16 years old, 11th grade 16 to 17 years old, and 12th grade 17 to 18 years old. So nga natin yung mga post-secondary education, natin mga colleges and universities. Colleges, it is very usually 2 years. Muna na sa colleges atong gingon ako ganiha nga na mga colleges na maghatag og junior college nga na uban nga ganahan sila mo enroll ana para di naman para dili na makuha o kanang di na mo proceed sa university for 4 years bachelor's degree. Pero na uban nga makuha na for ano lang additional learnings ra usa sila mag-proceed sa college or the 4 year course degree. For postgraduate education, masters usually ages vary 2 years, 2 years, so the same nagyapon sa Philippines. And PhD so ages vary usually 4 years, so parehas nagyapon sa Philippines. I think sa Philippines kay 3 na PhD nga 3 years ra kuha. So the Vietnam educational system, the primary education. The fact that the literacy level in Vietnam stands at 90%, so taas kaya ni, may have something to do with the fact that children as young as 18 months of age are admitted to public kindergartens, where they are introduced to arithmetic and alphabet. Their 12 years formal education begins at age of 6 when they enter compulsory primary school, where they will remain for 5 years. So, mo ni compulsory ni primary education. So, primary level. For preschool or kindergarten, which is optional. Nung yung ganiya, optional na siya, dili kinahanglan nga unlike sa Philippines nga usa ka maka grade 1 nga kinahanglan ka mo kinder. Sa ilaha dili. Pwede ka makaadto sa primary school na grade 1 nga wala ka ni agi o preschool or kindergarten. Preschool or kindergarten, which is optional, is offered from ages around 18 months in Vietnam, which is composed with compulsory schooling from the age of 6. Sa iyo po ani. Sakto di ay with compulsory schooling from the age of 6. So 6 at the age of 6 diya na mo sugod ang primary education, which is compulsory na. Next is the middle education. Following that they may enter intermediate education, although this is not compulsory. If they do, they spend 4 years discovering traditional subjects like language, math, science, and preparation for the remaining 3 years at secondary school. Secondary education. Following an entrance examination that determines the quality of secondary school that they will be allowed to enter. So, stricto kayo ang mga secondary educations nila nga dua nga dili ka maka-enter kung dili ka kapasar sa ilaha examination or the entrance exam. Students follow a compulsory school curriculum in which they must complete wide range of programs in order to graduate. These subjects include literature reading, mathematics, calculus, geometry, physics, chemistry, biology, history, geography, civics, foreign languages, technology, information technology, physical education, social studies, prestigious school, and add advanced courses in natural and social sciences. For the Vietnam education for the secondary grading scale kay mo ani ilaha numeric figures 9 to 10, 7 to 8, 5 to 6, 0 to 4. Uh, mo ni ang ilaha term for excellent, good, fair, and poor. The West conversation dire kay sa West ano gi-base na siya sa ano sa Western world countries. Mo ni ang conversion sa Western world countries nga gi ano ni siya gi compare and contrast sa siya or mao gid ni ang descriptor sa ilaha then mo na ang numeric figures. Vocational education. Since 1987, the Vietnamese authorities have struggled to weld hundreds of vocational colleges into effective mechanism capable of meeting the labor requirements of rapidly emerging economy. Two broad programs are offered just 1 to 3 years vocational trainings or 2 to 3 years vocational and technical education. Quality is monitored centrally. So, mo na akong gingon after nimo sa after nimo mo graduate o sa let's back again the year after nimo mo graduate sa high school, the 12th grade, after nimo mo graduate sa high school nga as 12th grade kay pwede ka mo-enroll ano yung mga vocational education. Usually ang mga vocational education kay they practicing the skills lagi kanang sa agriculture, welding, ng masonry, niya mga skills na mga skills ano related skills oriented education talaga ang gi-offer diri sa vocational education kay we know that Vietnam is a kanang ni achieve pud sila ba nga ang ilang mga students ito kay highly skilled nga makater pod ang needs sa ilaha developing countries. They need masonry siyempre in building huge buildings in, and etc. As you can see in this vocational education and trainings or the number of students in vet institutions or the vocational education and trainings, you can see the the increasing trend of the enrollees under vocational education because nakita sa ila government nga to, nakita sa mga tao nga to ang mga enrollees under vet kay nakagain gid og nindot gid ang ano nindot gid ang mga trabaho nga ila nakuha. They are well compensated bisag dili gid sila nakakuha og 4-year course bachelor's degree. They are well compensated and they are highly recommended to the other countries just like in the Philippines, diba? When it comes to Philippines, kita gid permit kuhaon sa mga lain countries. For example, the Middle East, kita may kasagaran kuhaon for weldings, masonry. Just like in ano talag in Vietnam, their graduates from BET institutions are highly equipped with skills. So, nagid siya fast trend o ano siya increasing trend talaga ang ilang mga enrollees because of ano talaga due to good educational background nga mahatag sa ilang school. Tertiary education, securing a place at university with a high secondary school grade, and in addition, high entrance examination marks is an essential career step, especially for young people from poor or disadvantaged communities. So, anong naman sila yung mga disadvantaged communities? Di ba compare na di nga nako ganihan to ang ila budget system ato sila eskwelahan kay based sa mga state in Vietnam not not all states there are financially blessed or financially stable. Na yung mga state nga to sa ilaha state ako giterm ha pero dili gud na state dili gyud nakakuha silang mga dako nga financial sa ilaha lugar kay may mga poor mga areas po sa Vietnam baya. So gamay silang makuha nga budget ana gamay yung ma-allocate nga budget para sa education sa kana mga poor nga area sa Vietnam. So, they are considered to be disadvantaged communities. They may leave following completion of an undergraduate degree, or remain for 2 years doctors or 4 years master's qualifications. The admission for tertiary education consists of two separate exams: secondary school graduation examination and the National University Entrance Exam. However, due to examination pressure, students faces the examination pressures faced by the students, the government of Vietnam abolished the two exams and formed a single national secondary graduation exam, now used to determine the university admissions. So, isyo kayo ha ni sa ilaha ang ila duha ka exam sa una. Okay. Daghan jud nag-commit og suicide sa niya kay ang death rate to sa suicide sila at that time kay taas jud kayo. Kay tungod aning pressure nga mahatag sa duha nga exam nga kung di ka mapasar sa usa ning exam di gud ka makaproceed sa tertiary education nga nakabotog initiative ang ilaha government nga usahon na lang kani nga exam para usa na lay kalbaryo sa ilang mga students nagtuwa. So yeah, then next is the recently the government of Vietnam announced that the national graduation exam will be abolished altogether after to 2020 in which and at which point admission for university will be based on the overall student performance during senior high school rather than the one final high stakes examination. So na sila national examination gitangtang na pud to saya i-base sa lang pud sa i-base na lang pud sa ilaha performance during the during their senior high school other than the one final high stakes examination for tertiary education grading system or for higher education institution 8 to 10 are excellent 6 to 7.9 are good 5 to 5.9 is fair 0 to 4.9 is poor or failing mo gina ang term sa ilaha pero di ko pabasaan eh. Educational system Vietnam versus Philippines student teacher ratio actually this is 20 it is the kining 20.3 kay actually this is okay again this 20.3 for Vietnam and 29.1 for Philippines is the ranking na ni overall ranking na ni siya sa teachers to student ratio so kita na to sa Vietnam na siya sa place siya sa 20.3 nga place and for the Philippines is 29.1 nga place. So based sa ako na research, Philippines has 1 is to 30 30 ratio. One either if 1 is to 30 ratio for the teachers to students. So mutuo ba mo ani nga there's if in every one teacher kay na 30 ka book students rag so kay ni katuohan. Pero mao ning gawa sa ako research. And for Vietnam there are 25 1 is to 25 ratio for students to teachers ratio. For average teacher salary for the Vietnam, they're 12,900,000 hindi kayo paminaw no? Pero in dong na siya or in the Vietnam currency, it is equivalent to 27,000 pesos in the Philippine currency. So, it is the basic pay ha, basic pay ni siya 27,000 or teacher 1 in the Vietnam. Here in the Philippines, for the basic pay, we have 21,000 for 128 pesos. So I think in the Philippines na nata siya na ano karon nga increment ang na increase na ato sweldo by 24,000 na siya for teacher 1. Mo na ko nasabtan. So next slide. Budget allocation for education. According to UNICEF, in 2019 Vietnam allocated 20% of the state budget to education, enabling strong investment in quality learning, including focused curriculum and greater investments in teachers. In fact, Vietnamese teachers receive more professional development than most OECD countries or ODID. Mo na siya ang ano, i-validate sa schools sa ilaha kanang ODID 2015. OECD countries are for the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So, Philippines is also a member of the OECD. OECD is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Is a group of 37 member countries including the Philippines that discuss and develop economic and social policy. So the OECD focuses on the developing developing countries. They focuses on businesses on developing countries. So they also supporting the education, good implementation of education. On the other hand, the Philippine government allocated 16.9% of the national budget, the highest among all executive departments. So, kining 16.9%, mas dako bilang 20%, no? Pero ang 16.9% hindi ko sure nga kining 16.9% nga budget sa Philippines kay maadto gid sa education sector gid. Duda jud ko ano. But that's the end of my reporting. Thank you. I hope you learn a lot based on to my discussion. God bless.